Tyronn Lue, the Los Angeles Clippers head coach, summed up what he expects of his two players, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, to be successful. Lue explained, "I don't go to Mastro's Steakhouse to buy ketchup, I go to get steak." Comparing his dish to that of his two celebrity chefs is similar to going to Raw Zones and eating French fries instead of the restaurant's famous Halo Halo. You always want the best stuff. The Clippers won Game 3 132-106 over the Utah Jazz, with Leonard scoring 24 of his game-high 34 points in the second half. Along with his 12 points, he also had 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. In the midst of Leonard's all-around effort, it was George's revival that helped the Clippers win. George had a total of 31 points, including 6 triples and 5 assists. After shooting only 34.3% in the first 2 games in Utah, going 12 of 24 from the field, he regained his touch. The Clippers needed a terrific game from both of their players to make this a series against the Jazz. They're still the yardstick by which their team's accomplishments are judged. The Clippers will follow Leonard and George's lead if the Jazz follow Donovan Mitchell's lead. Leonard and George's contributions against the Jazz were critical. Mitchell scored 30 points for the 6th time in a row, making it his 6th game in a row with at least 30 points. Both the Jazz and the Clippers shot 19 triples, with the host team hitting at a greater percentage of 52.8%. The two teams were evenly matched when it came to outside shooting. The 1-2 punch delivered by LA made all the difference. We both recognize that we must be proactive going forward and do everything we can to win. That's just the mentality we have to come out with, George said after the game. Get this team off to a fast start attacking, and just be aggressive again. For us, that's exactly what it'll come down to. Aggressive play is a basketball cliché, but it doesn't make it any less true. Most of the time, the person or team that enters the game with the right attitude has a chance to win. George accomplished just that in the second quarter, scoring 13 points and energizing the Clippers' hot start. By halftime, George was in playoff P mode, with 20 points and the Clippers leading 64-49. In the second half, the Clippers held off every Jazz comeback attempt, thanks in large part to Leonard, who took over the scoring reins. "I believe we're simply going with the game's flow," Leonard explained. "Whether it's defense, rebounding, or chatting on the floor, I'm trying to do everything. Our goal is to remain aggressive for the sake of ourselves and others, regardless of whether shots are successful or not." After Paul gets things moving, we'll go to him. If I get things rolling, it'll come to me. However, if anyone else on the team is succeeding, we'll give them another chance. The bench stepped up with LA's two greatest stars leading the way. Reggie Jackson and Nicholas Batum combined for 17 points and 9 three-pointers. The Clippers are still trailing the Jazz 2-1 in the series, but they've devised a plan to cope with Mitchell and the Jazz. Leonard and George must act as catalysts on both ends. Coach Lue asked you to order the steak. In this case, make it 2.